So in the past, we have done reviews for various types of different Glock carbines. And the downside to all of those different Glock carbines was they only worked with specific models of Glock. Basically, whichever one you bought was the one that you were stuck with. This one actually does work with Polymer 80. And not only that, it works with over 100 other types of handguns. Not new, these have actually been around for quite a while now, probably a couple of years. However, most recently, Polymer 80 has adopted them because they have different inserts that you can purchase so that they can work with various types of guns. And so today we're gonna find out, is it actually functional? Does it work well? And another issue that I had with the other Glock carbines was you couldn't change the brace that was on them easily. However, this one can be used with any brace that your little heart desires. But don't worry, I have your guys' back. If you're watching this on YouTube, you just follow that first link in the video description. That'll take you to a different page where this video is being hosted. So you can find all the links for the products that we're talking about. Let's dive up close. Let's take a look at this little guy. Let's talk about how it works, all its little neat little quirks and crannies and things like that. Then we're gonna go over the range footage and how it functioned, if it functioned at all. So this is the bag that it comes in right here. This is called the IMI Defense Carbine. It's actually a really nice bag. Inside of the bag here is a bunch of nifty little toys and stuff like that. You get a nice little strap here. You also get a QD swivel, and I don't believe this was included. This was something I was trying to use on it, but couldn't, and I'll tell you why in a second. And then this is a little plug that stands in the place and where we put our buffer tube. Now, but what's also cool about the little plug, if you don't want to put a buffer tube and a brace on it, it will actually act as your QD point right here. The other Glock carbines that I've tried in the past, they have these stretchy slings, which I'm not a fan of because I can't really get really good tension on it. But what's also really cool is you get this neat little tool right here, which you're actually going to use quite a bit. So let's get to that. Get this out of the way. Okay, so this is the Carbine system right here. I've already got it all set up. That little plastic plug I showed you that goes in, it's actually in the back right here. And it actually had like this grease or something on it. And I had to use a set of channel locks to get it out. But you can already see, like, it was pretty difficult to get out. I actually chewed it up quite a bit. Thankfully, I'm never gonna use that again. So like I mentioned a little bit earlier, the coolest thing about this system is it works with literally about 100 different types of guns. We'll talk more about that here in a little bit. And the main portion that makes the difference on what type of gun it fits is this rear portion right here. And you can see it's spring loaded. This little tool right here, when you first get this and set it up, there's gonna be a bunch of different little quirks and stuff that you're gonna need to finely tune, which we're gonna talk about here in a little bit. Right here, it has a set of flip up sights. They are not spring loaded at all. They just pop up with your hands. For the red dot, I have this new Vortex Crossfire, which I've just shot when I was testing this the other day. And this is a really cool little affordable red dot. It's very similar to the Vortex Spark AR that we did a test on. Don't worry, the dot's not really that big. We're gonna do a full review on this here in the near future, but I had it slapped on top right there. If you wanna convert it from the little sling detachment to the brace system, that just unscrews, and all you need is the buffer tube and a castle nut. And then you can put on your brace. And it's cool because this brace actually matches the system. This is in OD green. They actually have 3 different colors. They have black, they have OD green, and then they have flat dark earth. I decided to get OD green because I thought it looked kind of grayish. Now we're gonna talk about some troubleshooting and stuff that I did here in a little bit, but it's pretty cool. It's a nice little side charger. So that's what it looks like with the Polymer 80 PF45. Now, when I was at the range shooting it, I was shooting it with the Polymer 80 PF45, and I was like, hey, let me switch to my Polymer 80 Glock 17, just like that. So yeah, I mean, it literally just fits onto the rails of all these different guns. That's pretty cool. I was just testing this on this Glock 19. You tighten that down, then when you fold it up, it fits. Now this is your adapter plate here for the different types of guns. This is made for Polymer 80, but I really wanted to just test it and see what it did with Glock, just for kicks and giggles. Yeah, it definitely needs that different rear plate. It doesn't quite function correctly, but that's how it works. Let's go over the range footage real quick. back up top. So before we get into how it actually functioned at the range and if I had any issues with it or not, I wanted to go over a couple of the little quirks that I had when I was setting it up. There are a few little adjustments that you need to make on this in order to get your gun running correctly. The first thing that I noticed was when I first put the handgun in it, I would go to rack it because it is side charging. And when I would rack it and it would come back, it wasn't quite going into battery. That was like, wait, what? Why would it not go back into battery? Turns out there's a little bitty Allen head right here, and you can use their included tool that comes with it. And the reason that it wasn't going back into battery is the frame was sliding backwards. So when you actually tighten this down, it pushes the frame forwards, and then it was starting to go into battery a lot easier. So just keep that in mind when you get this. You probably will have to adjust this little guy over here just a little bit so it fits the rails nice and snugly. And then you'll also have to adjust the back of this little figure here to put more forward pressure onto this to keep the pistol stable. And that way it will always go back into battery. But once I got that set up, it had no issues at all. Another thing is you can also use this little guy right here and you can adjust. I guess this is like a muzzle brake type thing. It can come out like that, I guess, if you wanted it to, or it can go all the way back like that. I just kept it back. I don't know what the real purpose is of having it extended. Maybe there is one, I'm just not knowing about it. And I'm just very impressed that it came with all this cool stuff. Came with this slanted hand stop. It came with 2 pick rails on each side. Came with the flip up sights. It came with a matching pistol brace. This is the CAC Shockwave with the CAC buffer tube. Now, another little interesting quirk is on the back of this, all you need is the buffer tube. You don't need the buffer in the spring. It's literally just there as a way to hold this on. Now, I didn't use an end plate. I just used a standard castle nut, but you can get the Strike Industries end plate because it will sit flush against the rear of this. Then you can have quick detach mounts and stuff like that for different types of slings. So when I was at the range, I took it out with the Polymer 80 PF45 frame with the 45 ACP slide. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. I will say, when I was shooting it, I had a few malfunctions. It wasn't due to the actual carbine system or the Polymer 80, it was ammo related. It was just super crappy ammo and it just wasn't cycling quite correctly. Now, a couple things I noticed when I did have malfunctions was up here, I did get a couple of shell casings stuck on top of the slide, but inside of here. So if that's an issue, you might have to look at that and be like, all right, what's going on here, people? And I thought maybe because my chamber was so far up here, but then I realized when the slide reciprocates, it's in exactly the right spot in order for it to eject a round. But this thing shoots amazingly well. And I wanted to address a couple of other little things that people have mentioned in the comments of previous carbine conversion kits. A lot of people don't understand why you would even do it because number one, it doesn't add to the lethality of the gun. You're still shooting a pistol caliber round, and it doesn't add any velocity to it because you're still shooting the same length barrel. The main advantage you get with something like this is you get 2 extra points of contact. So when we're shooting a handgun, right, we're out there like this. The more points of contact that you have on a firearm, the more stable that shooting platform is going to be, and therefore the more accurate you as a shooter are going to be. Now we have 1, 2, 3, and then 4. So our cheek is 1 point, our shoulder incidentally is number 2, and then both of our hands. So now we're able to transition a lot quicker and shoot a lot more quickly because we have more stability on the gun. That's the main point of these. So where would you realistically use one of these? I honestly think that this is best suited for a truck gun, if you want to put one in your truck. I'm not saying you should, but I'm just saying it'd be a cool little truck gun to have, and then, you know, if things go wrong, you can pull it out. I think the best place for this, aside from just having it as a range toy, is for home defense. One thing that I really like to have is a lot of interchangeability amongst a lot of my different guns. So that's why I use a lot of things with Glock, because I like being able to take a mag out of my Glock pistol, put it into my Glock AR, or put it into one of these right here. I noticed that when I was shooting it, the slide always locked open on the last round, and it runs like a champ. I really like the side charging feature because you don't have to take your eyes off the target when you're actually charging it. You know, you can just rack it and keep shooting. So knowing what I know now, these cost about $490-ish. And now with that said, would I buy it knowing what I know now? Yes, I would. And the main reason I would is because it will fit a million different types of guns. I'm not even kidding. I mean, there is an entire list. Just follow the link that I provide for you and you can go see the entire list. Now, when you order this, you only get the one insert for the polymer 80s, but the other inserts are available, and I think they're about $30 per insert. So to me, that's well worth the price. So I'm definitely thinking about doing the SB tactical brace on here, maybe even the RIP brace that we did a review on. If you didn't see that video, I'll link that down below. But it's essentially the SB tactical brace, but you can rip it out and then start shooting very quickly. I'm not just saying this because someone sent me this, but this thing is a blast to shoot, and it is my favorite amongst all the Fab Defense and the Ronis that I've tested in the past. But let me ask you guys a question. Is this something that you think you would like for your handguns? If so, let me know why. If not, let me know why. Also, if you want to see more of my Polymer 80 builds or my other types of AR builds, I'll put a little playlist like right up here or right up here. And if you like this video, just hit the like button, the subscribe button. If you didn't like this video, just hit the dislike button twice. And until next time, you guys stay sexy, and I love you.